Hello, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. Today we're actually going to talk about Bitcoin's price because Bitcoin affects everything, looking at its volume and looking at its current trajectory. Now, where I actually see Bitcoin going, I think Bitcoin is going to go to 9,000, perhaps this week, this weekend, or next week. And I think in the next 7 to 10 days, we are bound to see 9,000 or slightly lower than 9,000. And I'm going to explain why. We see Bitcoin heading suddenly up in late June. And I'm pretty sure it peaked at around 13,793. So 13.7 is where it peaked. And then it never went above that because we never broke 14,000. And then we started coming down. And the first minimum was at 10,000 or maybe 9,900 here. And then we kind of went back up. But the next peak was only around $13,000. So the next peak was about 700 less than the previous peak. And then after that peak, we actually went down even further, next time to about $9,300. And then this was a minor peak, and then the trough at about 9,400. And then we went back up just recently on August 6th, and we hit $11,784. And then we peaked here, and then now we're going down again. So if you look at the peaks since June, we've had 13,007, we've had 13,000, and then we've had 11,900. So it's a descending top. And then as for the lows, we've had 9,888, then we'd have 9,000, basically 9,300, 9,493. And around the same here, and now we're going down again, and we're around 9,900. So based on this pattern, I do think, unless something really changes, I do think we are establishing a lower low. And if you look at the actual volume here, we've kind of been going down since June as well. Now, the lowest part of the volume was actually here on July 21st to August 6th. We're slightly above that, and we had a little bit of a bounce, but this bounce coincides with the sell-off, and when there's a sell-off, there's always more volume. So I think the volume will keep going down as well. So eventually, I do believe we're going to bottom out this time at around 9,000, somewhere between $8,800 and $9,000. That actually might be the bottom within the next 7 to 10 days. And then after that, we will probably go up to maybe around, I would say after that we might bounce back 11,000 and then go back maybe one final time to around $8,000. I kind of see that as how the market is going to play out before maybe we achieve a next high. People have been talking about a consolidation for a long time, and I do think we have to come down nearly 40% from our high of 13,700 before we really consolidate. So 8,000, maybe 7,500 is kind of my target for Bitcoin consolidation. And as the graph shows, over the last 2 months or the last month and a half, we have been establishing lower highs and lower lows. And this time, based on the graph, I do believe that we are heading for a lower low. We could have a small revival, but ultimately I think we're heading towards that 9,000 marker. And that's going to be devastating for Bitcoin and all the altcoins. So I'm thinking that we'll hit a low sometime maybe this weekend or next week of around $8,800 to $9,000 before we have a temporary relief. And then we're going to have another cycle, and it's going to go down closer to the lower 8,000s, if not into the 7,000s, depending on if the decline is accelerating or decelerating. You can see that the traffic, the volume is higher than what we had in the last, at the end of July, but I don't know if that volume will sustain or not. If the volume actually stays high, we might not have that last cycle, and we might bottom out overall at around in the upper 8,000s, and then maybe swing up into 15,000 or so. I'm actually looking for the end of Q3. For the end of Q3, that means into September. We're about halfway through Q3. I'm looking for the end of Q3 to actually be negative, and then once Q4 starts, I'm looking for a positive turn. That means in 1.5 months, I do believe we can go for another one or two of these small cycles, and that's why I believe this time we can have it bottom out at 8,800 to 9,000, and then swing back again, lower high, lower low, and next time we might be able to bottom out at 8,000 or slightly under 8,000, and that will be the consolidation. As Q4 approaches, Q4 is usually fairly good for crypto. There could be one thing that throws a wrench in it, and that is the U.S. goes into an overall recession, or the world goes over an overall recession. Now, many people think that the recession is good, but I don't think so because most people mostly buy crypto with spare money. Like, if people have to choose between eating or paying rent and buying crypto, most of them are going to choose eating and buying rent. And if they have to liquidate the crypto to eat or buy rent, they will liquidate that crypto. So I think in a recession in like the first world countries will actually hurt crypto. Maybe like a recession in smaller countries might help crypto because those people are going to flow more towards crypto as their dollar falls apart or as their money falls apart. But I don't think like the US, the dollar is really going to fall apart anytime soon. Despite what some people say, I don't think the dollar is going to fall apart anytime soon. And because of that, during a recession, people are going to liquidate their investable assets to actually pay for living needs. So that could throw a wrench in the entire plan. But if the economy, I think, holds decently, it doesn't need to be expanding. It just needs to hold decently. I do believe that Q4 will be good for crypto, and we'll be at the end of the cycle. We'll consolidate at either 7 or 8,000, and then at that point, I do see an upturn as we go towards Bitcoin halving. If the Litecoin halving is anything to go by, Litecoin was devastated right before its halving at around $30, and then up towards a halving, it actually soared to $130,000. So what I'm thinking is Bitcoin will actually be sort of devastated at maybe like $7,000, $7,500. And then once we have the bull run, towards the peak of the bull run, maybe in like February, March of next year, we'll top out at close to $35,000 or $40,000. So that's my prognosis kind of for Bitcoin. I do believe that it's going to be 9,000 or slightly lower this weekend. And then the lowest is going to be around, in the lower 8,000s or upper 7,000s. And then we will actually top out next February or March at maybe 35 or 40,000. So would be my best guess. Yes, the time traveler thing with 100,000 could happen. I just don't think it will. But I do see big gains for Bitcoin going into later Q4 and Q1 of next year. So let me know what you think. Thank you and have a nice day.